Today, we're testing out the AEA Element Max. These come in a variety of calibers, starting at 45 all the way up to 58. This one today is in 50 caliber. A big thank you to Tom at Bluegrass Big Bore for sending out this AEA Element Max for me to try out today. Today, we're going to be using this Texoma Precision Pellet 495 caliber, 235 grain rounds. After seeing what the 510 caliber Megalodon did to those watermelons a couple weeks ago, I had to make sure I had these same style hollow points this week in 50 cal, so the AEA Max can absolutely obliterate the watermelon this week. Now you do get a selection of choices for cylinders on these Element Maxes. This is the 500cc, there's an optional 600cc, and then standard I believe is 350cc. But you can also get the rear tank upgrade like we saw on the S45 and the Megalodon. Today though, we're just rocking a folding stock. Now you may notice on this Element Max, this gigantic hammer. This thing operates in single fire. We should be getting around 450 foot-pounds in the 50 cal version. We're gonna have to cock this back every time, so it's gonna be a little bit slower, but this thing packs a lot of power. For this video, I'm gonna have this gun tethered for the majority. We're gonna have this tank hooked up with this line straight to the gun. When we do the gel tests and velocity readings on the chronograph, I won't have this connected just so you can see how far it's gonna drop in velocity between each shot. Once we're done with those tests though, this is gonna go back on so you get reliable power the whole way through this video. Now I haven't sighted this thing in at all. I've only fired one round through it so far, so first off, it's on paper and get this sighted in. After that, we're gonna do the gel test. Then we're gonna untether. We're gonna move on to a variety of things today. I got a 2x4. I know this is gonna go through it sideways, but I wanna see if we can split it in half the thicker way. I think I'm gonna drop one Texas Star, but only the big boy. I think the other ones might get damaged from this thing, so we'll stick with the big boy for the Element Max today. After that, it's the usual. We got sodas, I have watermelons. Today we have a coconut. We'll whip out the dueling tree, see how this thing slaps that around. And then maybe later on, we're gonna group on some steels at about 60 yards from here. See how we do offhand and how well this groups on those steels. Let's get started. Well, before I get too far ahead of myself, we're using the Donnie FL Emperor and extension tube on this. Let's aim for that center bullseye. All right, one thing, that was super powerful. Holy crap. I have to say, this is very lightweight, even with that suppressor on. Let's try for that middle headshot. I'm amazed how many times I've bumped the scope down, but we're still hitting high. All right, let's do one more like that, and then we're good to go. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's move on to the gel test. We are untethered. I have this FX wireless chronograph, and I have my other chronograph with new fresh batteries in it. Hopefully, between the two, we get consistent readings. All right, I got the app open. Let's see if this actually records. So that chronograph said 921 feet per second. This said 942, 463 foot-pounds. Let's do another one. I'm gonna do 3 more shots, then come back at you and show you the results of all of them through the chronograph. Assuming the gel doesn't get away from me. All right, here's the results. We started just under 4,500 PSI. We were about 4,300. That's 5 shots later. Let's do 5 more and just see what we get for velocity. All right, those last 5 shots. It's Texas Star time. I don't expect this to be anything quick, but let's put a timer up there just in case to show you how fast this actually takes. Or slow. All right, we'll start the timer after my first shot. See, I think that was pretty leisurely paced, and, well, I don't know how long it took, but we'll see at the end. I forgot to mention this, but next up, I got this beef bone. It's been defrosting out here. It was frozen, but now it's pretty much ready to go, so let's blow this up next. And then we'll do the coconut. I want to see if I can hit it right in the bone. That's going to require inspection. That was close, but no cigar. Take two. That definitely took care of the issue. Great ass! This is a quick way to tenderize your meat, but there's not going to be much left to eat. And I could be talking on my rear end, but I think I just blew the bone marrow out of this piece of bone. I think that's what that little chunk is in there, is the rest of the bone marrow, but it's gone. I believe that we're aware the coconut has no chance of survival, but seeing is believing. Now, I do love the double whammy collaterals. The coconut exploded and then took out that soda. Can't argue with that. 2 birds, 1 stone. It's 2x4 time. Let's see if we can split that 2x4 in half lengthways. I decided to go untethered for this. Okay, that was more successful than the blitz. We actually split it in half with the rifle and didn't even touch the board. All right, soda time. We have 1 spray paint in there too to change things up. And we are tethered again. I want to get that soda that's in the board that I just split in half. Spray paint time, and I'm not sure how much is left in there. Could be a dud. It's a dud. We'll have to replace that one. I guess I nicked it. Let's see if I can blow it up before it stops pissing. I blew it up before it stopped pissing. All right, this one's pretty full. I'm sacrificing a full one because sometimes when we buy paints, they don't stick to the steels really well. Some of them stick incredibly well. Some of them you spray and it just like drips off. This blue is one that drips off. The quickest way to paint something really poorly. All right, watermelons are up. If you've seen the Megalodon video, you have an idea what to expect with these hollow points from Texoma Precision Pellet. These things shred. I'm expecting a repeat. Let's go for the left one first, straight in the bunghole. Let's see if I can split that one on the left side. Yep. bunghole number 2. Okay, that watermelon was effectively destroyed. Pretty similar to what we did with the Megalodon. All right, let's do this real quick. I've allocated 10 rounds. We're gonna put 5 on each torso. We're at about right around 55, 60 yards downrange. There's a bolt on them that I'm just gonna aim straight at the bolt. I don't care where it hits. All I care about is how it groups. And we are still tethered. We'll do the pink torso first. First group, I say it's pretty good offhand. Those 4 rounds were, well, 3 of them were pretty much stacked on one another. One went a little high, one was a little left and high, but let's see how we do on the blue one. The windage was a little bit to the right still, but elevation was more level on that one. Now it's time for my favorite test of power, the dueling tree. We're gonna see how hard this thing slaps those plates. I'm only at about 3,500 PSI on my transfer tank, so that's all we have left in this because it only puts in the same amount of pressure that it has in the tank. So we're a little bit underpowered, but I still think this thing's gonna rock that steel tree around. And it does. Violently. We're gonna go for the smallest one first. If that moves and we can do that, we'll move to the next one, but I'm not very hopeful it's gonna get it swinging like crazy. All right, little one first. Satisfying thwack to it though. All right, I'm gonna try and get that little one going. I'm gonna see if I can put 2 on it real quick. I'm gonna try and hit it as low as possible. I can barely get that follow-up shot off close enough to where it's just settling down again, so. I don't think that's gonna work with a single shot. We need a magazine-fed PCP for that. So that's gonna wrap things up for the AEA Element Max in 50 caliber. Surprisingly, this thing is very lightweight. With this mechanism for cycling, just single feeding and then cocking a hammer, I have to say it's probably one of the most simplistic designs for a PCP. Even with a suppressor on it, that big tank, 500cc, I know we're not rocking the rear tank, but this thing is still pretty light. I've only put those 235 grain Texoma Precision pellets through this so far. I'm sure there's probably something that's more accurate that's not a hollow point, but even with those being hollow points, still very accurate in this offhand at 60 yards. I might just need to adjust my scope a little bit to the left, but other than that, the groups were pretty tight, I would say. So if you are interested in one of these AEA Element Maxes, check out the pinned comment below. Or if you're interested in the ammo I used today, that'll be down there as well. See ya.